Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 20 of our Let's Play series, War in the East to 1941 scenario as the Soviets. This episode, we're going to wrap up turn 9, August 17th of 41. We inch closer and closer to the season of mud and eventually winter. So far, every turn that has progressed in this series, I felt more and more optimistic, which I credit towards on the map being able to see structure and semblance of a front line, even though it's a very fluid one at best. But overall, I'm pretty optimistic on the series and how things were going. I know in the first couple of episodes, I started to really feel like, oh my gosh, I might be doing a Let's Play that only lasts 10 episodes. But things have certainly kind of recovered, and to recap, we have set out with this strategy that we are northern defense first, southern defense second, and that our priority is to make sure we hold Moscow and Leningrad. And our thought is that if we can hold Moscow and Leningrad, and I mean as long as we don't completely concede the south in an unrealistic fashion, that should guarantee us the win. If we can hold Leningrad and Moscow, we should be okay. Again, if they take stuff ahead of schedule in the south, that will help them, but it won't be enough to offset Moscow and Leningrad. Exceptions being, right, if they make it to Stalingrad and Astrakhan and all of that stuff, and say next spring, what have you, and take both, then things, I don't know how the math's going to work out there, but it'd be much more difficult for us then. But priorities are Leningrad and Moscow, and that's going really well. We've actually held Smolensk longer than the historical date. I think by, I want to say 2 weeks now. Don't know if end of this turn will be 2 weeks or if it's already been 2 weeks, but Smolensk we've already been holding. There's not really any signs of the Axis forces being able to take it from us this turn either. Knock on wood, please do that at home. For all I know, there are a plethora of panzer divisions in the rear just building up combat prep ready to strike, but at the moment it would appear doing okay. We left off around Aryol, and Aryol and Kursk have kind of been our dilemma recently. You can toss Kharkov into that conversation too, where we're looking at geography that is just plain open terrain, clear fields that really lend themselves to an attacker and not to a defender. There's lots of rivers, but they're not that large, and on either side of the river it's clear terrain. So this is becoming very difficult for us to manage the defense of Aryol and Kursk. And we left off right here around Aryol. You can see we've got a number of low-value defensive units just trying to have this whole layer approach to our defense, where hopefully we can slow them down, and as they approach the city, we can have some of these units in the rear really start to dig in and contribute to a defensive line. The other issues, we have just tons of units that are in an unready status. They need to be in refit, etc. So we left off here, just south of Aryol. We're going to pick up, and for example, in these little pockets of forest down here, we're actually looking okay. Like, this is probably the strongest area of our entire Aryol defenses in the south. They're trying to do this spearhead straight to the city. But I was looking at it, and I'm actually going to take the 148th Rifle Division, and I'm going to set them on reserve, hoping they may be able to help out if they do attack here in the south of Aryol a little bit. I don't think they're going to drive to Kursk from this direction. I think that's probably going to come from this spearhead here, but we'll see what happens. Everything else I'm going to keep just as is, I think. This unit, they're pretty close to already being outnumbered 2-1, but it's at the very least going to be a good fight for us. We have fortification levels, we're dug into good terrain, so I'm optimistic about their chances to really kind of hold out there. When we look south, I see here that I have these 2 rifle divisions and 1 hex. I really don't need both of them to be in that hex. So what I'm going to do is take the 260th Rifle Division, and I'm going to move them back here to this terrain to start digging in And again, these two units then can become another layer of our defense that we can withdraw back to as they advance on Kursk. We've mentioned this over and over again, but I'll say it for posterity. They will take Kursk, they will take Aryol, they will take Voronezh. We know all these things. Our goal is just to make it cost them, to not lose men to encirclement, and to not let it happen so quickly that their bonuses for victory points offset their inability to take Moscow and Leningrad. Those are kind of the three objectives we've got here in the southern half of our front. Looking here, I'm going to leave all these guys just as they are because we're getting, again, these fortification levels up. And this is probably the most defensible terrain we have between now and Kursk. So I want them to have to push through here. I'm certain they are capable of pushing through, but pushing through the zone of controls, and even if they, let's just pretend, right, that they knock out both of these hexes and they have an opening. Well, they still then have to move every unit through terrain that doesn't have any roads, and they have to move through hexes that are within our zone of control on both the north and south. Right? That's not an easy thing for them to accomplish and to do well. We likely may pull back because of encirclement concerns, but we're in a pretty good defensive position here. So we're going to leave all of these guys just as they are. Over here we have the Western Front. And we're... yeah, I think we're just going to... yeah, we're going to leave them right where they're at, actually. Continuing to look south here. This is the only guy that I'm looking at saying, yeah, you know, you're not contributing too much right there, so I'm going to pull them back to... you can either do this hex or this hex. I think I'm going to pull them back here. Then I'm going to take... is this airborne brigade getting close to ready? Let's see. I'm going to pull them up here to this swamp. I think I'll pull these guys here too. There we go. 43rd Army should not be attached to Stavka. Let's put them in the Bryansk front. Looking at this, so again, they now have the option to push through here, but if they do, they're really kind of in all of our spheres of influence with units here, here, here. They can't really get anywhere. They're still going to have to solve for our defensive position, so I'm okay with this. And again, if they do push through there, it accomplishes the same thing. It still slows them down. That route is slower than defeating our defensive position and then pushing through unopposed. So I'm okay with how all of that is looking. This guy here is unready. Oh. What can we do about that? I take you to ready. Let's move you forward. Going to move you back. That's something. I don't know that it's great, but it's something. I desperately need to get this guy out of here, right? Because he is at risk of encirclement, and one of our goals is not to be encircled. So we're going to draw him back here, I think. This unit, I'm also going to pull back. What I'm going to do is, why do I have these guys in Stavka? Doesn't make any sense. We have this new Bryansk front, so put them there. This unit, going to take these armies. They don't even have anyone attached to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to move them up here to Aryol because I have a lot of units that I need to get attached to a proper army. So we'll bring them up there. And I'm going to take the 37th Army. I'm going to move them here. Another Stavka. What happened here? Let's put them in Third Army. I'm just going to, you guys will humor me for a moment. I'm going to find these guys that I had in Stavka that now I have an army up here I can put them into. So I'm going to put these guys into the 40th. Won't take too long, but this is some of the clerical work you need to make sure you stay on top of, and I failed to do so. I gotta say, on the Stalingrad to Berlin campaign, this type of work has been 1,000 times easier than this, because I mean we had entire armies that pretty much began this game encircled. And what do you do in that case, right? It's just a complete mess. So we're going to get all of these guys to the 40th Army, and this should all really help. Okay, they're good. Same thing here. Oh, I had a lot of stuff wrong. You can't let this get away from you. It's too easy to let it get away from you. This guy. 40th Army's probably starting to get too far from him. Put him in the 13th Army, I guess. Let's get you. Got one more up here. 40th Army is now full. I'm just going to attach them to the Bryansk front. And then down here I had a number of units that are part of the Western Front, and that's not needed now that I have this 43rd Army that is right nearby. So we're going to switch those around, because they were getting out of range of the Western Front. So this presents a good opportunity for us to get this all sorted. You're good, you're good. Almost got it all. Got two more here. Let's put you in the 37th Army. Same with you. Okay. This is all good work. So now I can take this guy and retreat him somewhere. Where do I want to retreat him? Withdraw him. Sorry. Retreat's probably too negative a word to use. Let's withdraw him here. Go. These guys might get encircled. This might be unavoidable here. So I'm going to move in this direction. Move him up here. You might get out. You probably will not get out. There's a chance, so we'll give it a shot. You are unready probably because you lost a horrible battle. You're also part of a front, which is nonsense. Let's toss you to the 3rd Army. And let's bring you to the rear here as best we can. Well, let's toss you on your HQ, I guess. You're on refit status, but you're probably okay. I'm going to pull them back just 1 hex. Then this guy is in refit status. Another southwestern front. Goodness. So I'm going to move him back 1. Okay, so there's that. Now over here, This guy needs to go into refit. His HQ's right here. His HQ needs to be brought back. Let's bring his HQ up there. Him there. Oh, that was... I moved the wrong thing, I think. First Airborne HQ does not need to be there. Let's move them over here. Fifth Army can come up. So we got this gap here in our line. How do we want to handle that? I think we leave this for one more turn. Evac these guys north next turn if they push up here. And then we kind of keep this line going north-south here. I think that's the route we're going to take. Here, this tank division's on refit. It's just everywhere we look, stuff's on refit. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, this entire pocket here has great terrain actually to fall back to with this rough terrain. But it's just to the north of the rough terrain. There's not too much to help with the defense of Kursk. But Kharkov, there's quite a bit of stuff between the Axis and Kharkov from this direction. Where we're more at threat is from the south and pushing due north, which is why we've started to add in all of these layers that you can see here. And this is just, again, a mechanism to try to slow them and to not have our units encircled. This guy, on the topic of not having our units encircled, we're going to pull back. And might actually be a really good candidate to bring up here. There we go. That's nice. The airborne unit can go to refit. I'm just going to send you to Kharkov, actually. Here. Merge these two. Let's see. No. Okay. Let's send you to Kharkov too, I think. We'll do that. Okay. You are unready. You are also unready. Jeez, so I have to pull both of you back. Goodness. You are very much in the wrong army. So let's put you in the 4th Army. And we will bring you up here. You are also in the wrong army. You're in the southern front, which doesn't make any sense. There we go. That's better. You are in refit status, though. I'm going to leave you there just for another turn, actually. Yeah, I think I'll do that. He's not really at threat. This unit I might pull back. Do kind of a layered withdrawal here, I think. He's on reserve, refit. My goodness. Well, let's take the one that's on refit and pull him back here. You're on reserve, you're on reserve. You both need to be tossed to ready. Refit. Oh, what a mess. We'll bring you north here. Then I'm going to leapfrog you here. So it's a worse defensive position, but I'm now a little less at risk of being cut off with that guy to the south. And then that leaves less of a gap here in my line. Back here we have all of these units, which... oh my goodness. I just need to get them out of there. So let's see. Let's bring that rifle division here. This rifle division will go here. This mechanized division is in reserve. I'm going to put right here. There we go. Giving up that hex because killing 500 more enemy infantrymen is not as important as having an entire division encircled and lost. Right? That's the calculus here. That's what it comes down to. These cavalry divisions I can sometimes be a little more aggressive with. One, because of their movement points is sometimes a little easier to evac them out of a tough situation. Two, I'm not committing 13,000 men, I'm committing 3,000 men. Right, so it's just, the math is a little easier that if they do get lost, it's not as bad. I don't want to lose them, not trying to say that by any means, but it's just a little easier. And I'm going to try something a little cheeky here. I'm going to take this rifle division, I'm going to put them in the city fortification. Yeah, I have enough administrative points, absolutely. And let's also put you in city fortification. Ooh, I don't actually have enough to get there. That's a little surprising. Okay. Let's take this guy into the city fortification. There we go. Now I bring some of these guys back here. I'm really only going to be able to hold just one hex here for supplies. Let's bring that mechanized division down. You're on refit. I'm going to try to get some of these guys out. Specifically the ones that are routed or unready. Because they're not doing anything by staying. Here we have this rifle division. I think I might leave them right where they're at. Tank divisions, refit, goodness. Let's get that tank division back. This HQ back here. Mountain division needs to go to refit, and let's bring you back here to start help digging in. Get all these guys on refit. This is just killing me. The tank division can go here on refit. Let's toss them back here. HQs don't need to be right there. Let's bring them back. 26 army. There's no one in it, of course. Take them there. The mechanized division that's unready can withdraw. Set them to refit. Look at just entire hexes that are on refit status. This is killing me. So let's... Goodness, because now we have to start looking at splitting out the forces that are going to defend Stalino from everything else too. Oh my. Oh my. I need to start getting some of you back this direction. Because they probably will cut us off going to the sea here. So Let's just get them back here. 6 Army HQ. Bring them up here. That cavalry division has no business being right there. No business. So bring them back. There we go. Okay. So what I'm doing here is, by doing that city fortification, we are committing units to the city that likely is going to end up getting surrounded, and then we won't be able to, and they'll end up surrendering, right? So we're probably going to lose, say, 20,000 men in this city. However, by doing the city fortification, I think I'm going to buy myself this turn plus next turn. Because here's the logic in my head. I think when I hit end turn, they're going to encircle the city, but they won't be able to take the city. Which then means the next turn, they're going to have to throw everything they can at trying to break down. What is this at? 160 defensive value. One question though is if I keep that tank division there. I don't know that I will. Oh boy. I think I take the tank division out. I think I take the tank division back here. Oh, there, I can't sit. Oh my goodness. Well, at the very least, I'm going to get you in the right HQ. Let's have you join the 38th Army. And yeah. Need to fix some of these. They're just kind of annoying me that they're all out of place. You can join the 18th Army. This was the other one. You can join the 4th Army. Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's that. We're going to continue to try to hold the river here. So far, we're looking good in this hex. Should take out this HQ unit though. Then in this hex, might as well take the rifle division and set them on their HQ since they're in refit status. Defensive value of 10, 22, so the north and south of the city is looking okay. Slight weak point here. That tank division. Just need to withdraw them. Oh my goodness. Oh no, I did the wrong unit. Oh no. That's brutal. Okay, take them there. You should not be Stavka, my goodness. I really let these assignments get out of hand. You're on refit status, but you don't have to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you up here. I'm going to set you to reserve. You really don't have any armor, but you have men, and maybe you can have an impact somewhere along the line here. That's the hope. That is the hope. Okay. Moving along the Dnieper here. We've managed to hold the river. And I am honestly surprised they haven't broken through yet. I say that, I'm sure they will now this turn because I said it, but really kind of happy that we've managed to hold it. When they do break through, the situation's going to devolve very quickly, and I'm going to have to, in large chunks of the river defenses, fall back, which is going to be quite awful, as there's not much to fall back to. So looking at it, I think I'm going to take some situations like here, wherein like this entire section of the front, two of the strongest spots we have are right here with these two defensive values of 18, right? Well, that feels like maybe an opportunity to put these guys somewhere else. It's like I'm going to take them, set them to ready, and I'm going to move them down here to start digging in. And I'm going to do the same thing with this airborne unit down here. They're both providing equal amounts, so I think we'll take one of them back. Let's take this 52nd unit. I want to start trying to dig in some of these hexes. Now over here though, I'm going to, for the most part, keep my strength because they are really trying to push through. We have a lot of Romanian divisions that are really trying to push through as well. So here we're dealing with not only the German forces, but also the Romanian forces. And I can kind of optimize my HQs a little better than what I have right now. This tank division, they're still on refit. What about this one? This guy I'm going to set to reserve and bring them up. So let's bring them up there. You on refit status. I want to have you come here. And really, these are the hexes to defend for me. These 4 and this one. So really, I have 5 hexes in which to try to defend once they do break through the river before they can advance onto the Crimean Peninsula. These will be the 5. I can't count. These are the 5. I'm sure I'll be very successful. I'm defending these 5 hexes. Oh my goodness, this is going to be tough. Over here, I got this naval infantry unit that I must have forgotten about, so I can bring them forward. Might even be worth to do this via rail. Yeah, so I can bring them up here. And then let's see if I can get them off the train this same turn. I can. There we go. So that should help a little. You are unready, so I might as well toss you to refit. Back here we have this other tank division we're going to set to reserves. You are on refit status. I am now going to preemptively pull you back. Let's have you come over here. Okay. So this cavalry division I'm actually going to set here, I think. Yeah, you're both on refit, aren't you? Okay. So all of these units that are on refit, I'm going to start withdrawing them. So they can, well, 1, try to refit themselves faster, but 2, start building this defensive line. So then, eventually, when the breakthrough does happen, hopefully that means I've got enough forces here to be able to defend. Yeah, this is all going to be so interesting. So I'm betting they're going to attack here again. That guy's unready. What are they contributing? The mechanized division, they're contributing 2.5. Let's take them. Move them back. And this tank division, I'm going to move up. So that gets me back to 19 there. Okay, so there's that. You're on refit. You can be unready though. Paying as much attention as I can to these guys. Ooh. 2,000 men for a rifle division. That's not going to work. So let's get you back here. Yeah, everything else is kind of looking okay. You are unready. So we'll also pull you back. Okay. You're on refit status. Let's have you move up here on reserve. And just in case they try something cheeky up here, they can try to have an impact on things. Okay. If I can survive another turn on this river, I'm gonna be so fortunate, guys. It's gonna be, I don't know if I'll call it a miracle, but it's gonna be something. It's going to be something. Okay. So that's that. I think I've done all my movements here in the south. Let me just take one more look around the Kharkov area. I think all of these guys I'm going to leave where they are. I think they're all fine. So that then leaves us to kind of into turn stuff, and here's the decision point, right? I talked about this in the previous episode. Do I try to bring my reinforcements into Leningrad? Or do I try to rush them into Aryol to try to stop this advance they've got going towards the city? Because right now, between them and Aryol, we see a lot of pretty colors, a lot of squares on the map. Frankly, it's not enough to stop them. If they want it to, I honestly would not be surprised if at the end of this turn here, they make it to Aryol. I don't know if they'll be able to take it, but they certainly, I think, could make it to the city gates. I think those are my two big decision points here. You could also maybe make arguments for bringing in units to try to reinforce the Dnieper River, to start bringing in to form the defense of the Crimea. There are a few arguments to be made. You could also say, hey, we should probably look at, you know, we've got a lot of layers of the Kharkov defense, but there's really not a front line that we have established. So there's a few arguments to be made. Here's my thought. We're going to lose Aryol, we're going to lose Kursk, we're going to lose Kharkov. We've known this. We need to stick to our guns, I think. And I think we need to make sure, I think we need to be certain that we do not lose Leningrad. And I think this might be the last chance that I have to bring in reserve units that can help defend Leningrad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to next turn, because if this Army Group North Panzer Force pushes all the way to Lake Ladoga, I'm cut off, and I can't bring in reinforcements into that city once that happens. So I think I'm going to bring in reinforcements for Leningrad. We have to be 10 hexes away, so it's probably over here. We're too close. Let's see here. Nope. Okay. So I think I'm going to bring them into Svestroy. Siastroy. There's a depot there. We've already got trucks and freight. So we're going to set this as the reserve leader box arrival hex. And we're going to look at our reserves here. This mechanized division just is not ready yet. Well, actually, I'm going to deploy the motorcycle regiment, I think. And then we're going to deploy all of our... Oh, no. So I saw that we had rifle divisions here, but I thought that they'd be full strength, because every other turn they've been full strength. Oh, no. There's only 5,000 men in each. Okay, well, given that, we're definitely going to deploy this mechanized division. I don't think we have any tank divisions that are ready. These tank brigades still are not there. Yeah. This is not good. I think I have to deploy them. I have to do it. And boy, I gotta tell you, you, you watch all of these Hollywood movies like Enemy at the Gates and stuff like that, and just the depiction of the Soviet army throwing every man they had at the problem. And that decision we just made there to take rifle divisions that are at 44% of their fighting strength and to choose to throw them into battle. That, I think that kind of says it. I think it sums it up pretty well. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's the hand we were dealt. We got to go with it. Oof. It's going to be tough. So I think when they come in, we're going to have to see what happens here when we watch the Axis forces simulate their turn, but I think I'll probably take half or more of them and just throw them into the city, right? Just to make sure every single hex, right, has 3 divisions, even if they're at 50% strength, just to make sure that I get them before we get cut off. And then the other half, I think I'll just do this layered approach, right, where we have an entire layer of units, another before they get to Lake Ladoga that they have to fight through. I think that's what we'll end up doing. But I don't think it's a certainty that they make it to Lake Ladoga this turn. I think they're certainly going to try. But yeah, we're gonna have to see where things land. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, okay, well, let's end our turn here, and we'll see how this goes. Everyone, please cross your fingers for me. I'll stop making predictions because the opposite will likely come true and it'll be bad for me. So my prediction is that they surrender. Let's see what happens. Going through the logistics phases, then we're going to get to their air execution phase. Leningrad is my great fear here. I mean, if we lose a city in the south, if they cross the Dnieper in the south, if they advance towards Kursk, Aryol, Kharkov, all of those are things that, if they happen, we still have a really, really strong chance of winning and coming through. But if they have early success here in Leningrad, it's really going to put into the balance the fate of the series and our ability to have a win. So it's all eyes to the north here, and waiting with bated breath. Now, if only this logistics phase would simulate a little faster. To be fair to the Axis player, they probably have quite a few logistical questions to try to answer in August of 1941, so that's understandable, I suppose. You know, one of the most, out of all the kind of Eastern Front stories and all that I've read and I've heard about, in the bucket of just interesting stories, right? Not gruesome, not valorous or things like this, but just interesting stories, was the Germans' attempts to try to maintain their supply lines. They actually managed to build across a river in the winter rail tracks just right on the ice. And there was lots of logistical and engineering things that went into it that I don't have a fluency enough to relay to you, but they managed to actually build for about 4 months. They had this active, a railroad line that crossed the river directly on the ice of the river because, of course, the bridges had been blown up. And it worked. It was successful because the ice was so thick. And here begins the assaults towards Leningrad. You see just right off the bat all those hexes being taken. My goodness. It's a bit of a demoralizing scene. But this is them pushing across the Narva River, mostly. And then a few forces pushing north through the forests where we had actually withdrawn to try to prevent us from being cut off. I get so excited when there's a pause in the FX sounds and it's just sitting at 1% thinking, you know, maybe they decided to have a week of rest. Wouldn't that be lovely? But I always know it's too good to be true. Okay. So this is them trying to advance south towards Novgorod. So far we've managed to hold. There's scouting attempts happening here. Still holding. Getting a little tense though. I don't know if it's their intel or us, but it seemed like the defensive value of that rifle division was much lower than I thought it would have been. And now they're pushing. This is northeast of Novgorod. This is now a little concerning because if they can cut off Novgorod, that loses us an infantry division to encirclement, which is, of course, one of the things we're trying to constantly avoid here. Have managed to hold against these two attacks. They've got the 1st Panzer Division and the 3rd Motorized Division involved here. They actually, okay, so they actually broke through the line there. Interesting. Managed to hold against that attack. Oh, they've now started to push north towards Leningrad. The Azov Rifle Regiment was shattered. That's not too surprising. We had a rifle division route back to Leningrad there. Oh wow. So they're pushing more of an eastward direction than I would have anticipated. That's surprising to me here. I thought they would have taken a more straight northern pass to push on Leningrad, but they're going a little bit more east here, which is interesting to me. And I can't say I mind terribly, but now I need to think about how I'm going to make sure that they don't have a complete breakthrough and can drive south straight to Moscow, which would be a very interesting decision by the AI here, which I wouldn't put it past them. Again, you guys have heard me. I have nothing but compliments for what they've done with this AI and its ability to surprise me every turn. But I've got some thoughts now on... I have to have some thoughts now on how I try to defend those breakouts that they had. Now we jump back down here to Smolensk, and they're attacking kind of the rear of the city, and probably another encirclement attempt. So far we've managed to hold, but they haven't thrown too much our way yet. Already we see, though, that they've brought up forces stronger than what we had intel on when we ended the turn. So as I kind of feared, they might have more sitting in reserve that are just building up their combat preparation for an assault. Again, I don't think they're going to attack the city directly this turn, but I certainly think they might attempt to try to cut off the city this turn. This is north of Smolensk. We had drawn back and retreated from some hexes that they're now pushing through. Had 2 attacks here now where we've managed to hold against the 6th Infantry Division, which is really exciting. They're now attacking. This is east of Smolensk. We managed to hold again. This is going well. This is going well. Remember our little math that we worked out, right? If across the entire front line they only take 1 hex per turn, we're fine. Oh. Okay. Oh my. So that's a problem. They have broken through my lines with some armor units. Oh. That's not good. I might have to do my first actual counterattack in this entire series here. Because that's very problematic if they can break through by pushing behind us. That is a very new and interesting problem for me to solve in the next episode. Which of course I'm only excited to handle. This is just west of Kharkov here. They've managed to push through one of our defensive positions we had here, but we have more layers, so we're still sitting okay for now. They have not, as of yet, managed to cut off those 2 rifle divisions to the south. Okay, now they're cut off. See, spoke too soon. We'll see what we can do with them, though. I mean, just because that route is cut off doesn't necessarily mean they've been completely encircled by enemy units, but chances are looking a little grim for them right now. See, up near Smolensk, that was something I did not expect, where there was a gap in the line, and they pushed through, it looked like, elements of a panzer division and a motorized regiment or brigade, which is a little interesting. I don't know that, just considering the number of units I had there and how much that must have cost them to move through all of those zone of controls, I just didn't predict it, but maybe I should have been a little more aware of that possibility, I guess. And now, what I'm really going to have to do is try to see if I can cut off that gap and isolate their 2 panzer divisions. Because if I can cut them off, those panzer divisions have a very serious problem being isolated from the rest of their supplies. Right? That's a big problem for them if I can cut them off. The difficulty that I'm going to have is now the entire rail line supplying our pocket of defense in Smolensk was just cut off. That is a huge problem for me. And honestly, this could be the beginnings of the complete collapse of my entire campaign if the AI has this plan to actually encircle my entire Smolensk pocket there. If they encircled all of those men, that might be game over right there if they pull that off. They continue to probe and push through in different pockets here. This is east of Smolensk. I've had a lot of battles though where I'm holding, so I'm optimistic in that sense. I know they're going to break through. I know I'm not going to hold them. It's just I need to slow them down and not be encircled. Those are the 2 objectives. Now we're getting a little closer to our Yule. Managed to hold there, though. It's going to be a tough one for him to crack because it's fortification level 2. Right, being scouted there. This is where things get a little tense to see how strong are they going to push to our Yule. Managed to hold once more with the 13th Army. We're scouted with the 301st Rifle Division. Okay, still holding the line there. That's good news. I need to keep holding as long as I can. It is still looking like a tall order, though. Little surprised that they're attacking me there where I'm kind of the strongest in my entire line. I'm not going to complain about it, though, just a little surprised by it. Surely they must be done now, right? That's just the end of their turn. Let's just all wish for that, huh? How about that? Just, surely they're done. Looking south of Kharkov here, actually managed to hold them there. That's a little surprising. The second time, though, not close. They routed. Only lost 8 armor, though, so that's not too bad for being routed from them. Yeah, so they're pushing up towards Kharkov. My goal, though, is that I just continue slowing them down here in Dnipro. I can't say it. That city in the south, we've managed to hold the first attack. It doesn't look like they're going straight for the encirclement route, which is interesting. Managed to hold again. We've attacked a third time. Still held. Let's see how much longer we can hold out there. We're down to 31 defensive value, which is really tough for us. It's going to be really interesting if they put all their energy into a direct assault and then don't have enough left over to flank the city and encircle it. That's going to be really interesting. That might be a bit of a blunder on their part. They're now trying to push across the Dnieper River. So far we're holding, but I think they're going to come at us pretty strong here. These are Romanian forces that are attacking us now. Still coming across. They're hitting exactly where I thought they would, where I pulled back that one unit and replaced it with a different cavalry division. Still holding. Keep it up, guys. If you do another turn of holding, this is just going to be an incredible feat. An incredible feat if you can hold another turn. They're just not getting that close there. I mean, we're taking no losses in these scouting attempts here. Just no losses. Just keep holding, guys. You can do it. Surely now that's the end of their turn, right? Come on. They don't have anything else to do they? Another scouting attempt. Ooh, they got a little closer that time. That was within 300. Okay. Come on, guys. You can do it. And hold them another turn. This is really good. I gotta say, it's kind of looking good, too. You know me not wanting to jinx myself here, but it's looking kind of good. Smolensk worries me. Them pushing east near Leningrad worries me. But otherwise, things are still going okay here. I really wonder if they haven't pushed stronger around Aryol because of their logistics situation. I mean, we don't have perfect intel, there's fog of war and all this stuff, but it looked like the units that were up near Aryol for the access were all very low supply, so I wonder if they're taking a pause this turn with those units. They're still scouting across the river here with these Romanian forces. We're still holding. It's the first time in a long time I saw us take a single loss. We lost 11 men, they lost 260. Oh, different spot they attacked there. But they're being held at the river. They're being held at the river. Let's keep it up, guys. Let's just hold a little longer. They're attacking in the north now. And I do worry a little bit in the north because we are weaker up there in terms of what forces we have. Yeah, see, they got within 113, which is far closer than we have in the other areas. It's going to be really interesting if they don't take that city there. Oh, did we do it, guys? Is it too early to celebrate? Did we do it? We may have done it. We may have done it. Come on. Let's see. Withdraw your forces from the rear of Smolensk. You don't want them to be cut off. Come on, guys. I'm sure that's what they're thinking about right now. Do they put more units into that pocket, or do they draw them back? Of course they want to draw them back. It's the prudent thing to do. Alright. We did not lose a single strategic target that turn. Every turn we go without losing a strategic objective is a huge win for us, guys. And we held the Dnieper River once again. What a turn. I am so happy about all of that. Oh my goodness. So happy about that. Let's see here. Still going through a logistics phase. So they did not even manage to encircle the city here, which gives me another turn to reinforce it. And to reinforce our connection to it as well. My goodness. That's a bit of a blunder on their part, I think. I really think they probably should have just tried to encircle the city. I'm going to break with tradition here, guys, and I'm going to go take a look at Smolensk, because even I cannot wait to see what happened there. Okay. And this is very problematic, what happened. So they pushed through with these panzer divisions. And then they managed to bring in infantry behind them, which is just, to me, really, honestly, a little shocking. So next episode, we're going to have a really tough decision of, we might actually try to break this unit here and to try to cut them off from their own supplies, which would certainly be the first offensive action we've taken the entire game. Or we may look to just entirely redeploy ourselves in a pocket around them. That is going to be that could be a game-defining decision that we have to make, because right now, there is not a single rifle division between these units and Moscow. Not a single one. So, on that very dramatic note, let's look at our end-of-turn summary, as we always do. We lost 50,000 men, which again, I feel is a great number. Remember the objectives. Slow them down. Don't get encircled. Don't let them advance too fast. We're not getting encircled, which means we're not taking too many losses. Lost 600 guns, 160 armor. Again, that number is just next to nothing. 170 airframes. Order of battle on the map. We gained 80,000. They lost 80,000. That's the second turn in a row that has happened. That is such great news. Gun emplacements, 371 to us. They lost 390. Armor, 330 to us. They lost 53. Airframes, 100 for each. I'm sorry, they didn't lose 53. They gained 53 armor. So, all in all, across the board, we are outperforming them, right? And they are not, for the most part, taking strategic objectives ahead of schedule. I think this is really good news. New events, just one. Soviet partisans continue their work behind enemy lines. And with that, guys, we're going to bring this episode to a close. Thank you so much for giving this a watch. Thank you so much for your continued support of not only the channel, but also this fantastic game. And I honestly cannot wait for the next episode. We'll see you then. As always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves a fantastic day. Bye now.